Thanks, Todd. I always see the word consumer in the broadest sense because there are many different types of consumers. And I want to turn to commercial building consumers, that represents a very significant and probably immediately controllable set of loads. And I'm going to ask Tom Shercliffe, who runs a consultancy called Intelligent Buildings, to join make the link between smart buildings and smart grid.
Yeah, so you talked earlier about how the smart grid extends into the devices that consume the energy of the electricity. And especially in office or commercial, many of those devices are inside of the four walls owned by somebody. And so in order to connect the vision of the smart grid and its benefits, we have to get the building owner to make fundamental changes and new decisions and new organizational alignment in order to make those things happen. So we like to start with the idea of having a plan and a strategy for the building itself outside of the smart grid. Just what's a better way to build and operate the building, and what are some technology, I won't say standards because that has a lot of meaning here today, principles about the way that they build and refresh their buildings. And so as we start to do that at the building owner side, we are doing that for good business reasons, but we're also enabling that building now to be much more ready for smoother load shedding, more apt to demand response situations. And one thing that they fear the most is the idea of two things: sustainability, meaning share the pain with my tenants, which is a non-starter, and demand response, meaning sort of draconian, sort of stop-start, more industrial type environments. So I think if we can get the building owners to have a strategy and a plan to do things for the right business reasons, which is an effort to itself, then it will parallel be ready when the smart grid really has the standards and has the plan. So I'd take that as almost a separate parallel effort that I think is really going to enable action when we all come together with the final plan.
So smart grid can't happen without smart buildings, and smart buildings can't happen without smart owners?
I think that's right, although we talked about psychology earlier, and if you spend a lot of time with building owners, you get good at that. And so really the pitch, if you will, to building owners is that the technology, strategy, and principles are good for building and running better real estate, period. And it just so happens that that's really good for the smart grid as well. I would say that when we are out there in the trenches with building owners, that we also not look past everyday, fully established IT principles of networks and connectivity and middleware and these things, because most buildings aren't there yet, much less looking on to even things that are upon us like analytics and some of the more sophisticated software programs. So just kind of jumping back into the building owner world, which is the node on the smart grid, we still have to do a few basic stepping stones as we keep pushing towards the vision that's just next. So just sort of a practical thought.
Mladen Kizunovic with Texas A&M. I want to get some feedback from you on a couple of thoughts I will share with you on humanware, if I may call it that way. We talk about software and hardware and firmware. Humanware, the people, the young people, okay, we're all young to an extent, if nothing else, with our ideas, but we really need young people to move this forward for the next 20, 30 years or so. So how do we intend to make a correlation between something as mundane as standards and interoperability and the next generation that will understand what it is and move forward? So what I want to put in front of you are three specific issues here. One is an educational issue that is so important because those groups may be your first adopters. They may come out of a university, for example, and be excited if they were exposed to these things and buy that plug-in or whatever it is. So that is your market right there. It just happens to be graduating 6 weeks from now, and not necessarily this moment or something like that. So how do we correlate to that? The second one is your innovators. We're talking here innovation. Gosh, I love innovation. But a lot of companies have for various reasons, got down in the innovation. utilities virtually, very few have R&D centers anymore, if they ever had one. So you know, that's one place where innovation happens. So how do you bring your ideas into the environment where you interact and spur that innovation? And the third one is, how do you recruit? You know, a lot of these companies that are expanding or trying to raise capital or whatever, they at the same time need people to do things. And so they cannot afford to train these people, you know, for too long as they come out. So how do you bring your activity into the university so that students work on these things, and as they walk out, they can just continue for a company on something that they worked on already? I have a lot of answers, but I don't want to give answers here. I will keep it for a next panel that Danto is organized for university people to express their ideas how this should be done. But I'm just curious, what do you all think about this?
I'll just give a quick thought that, at least again, back to my world of the buildings, you can connect and network and trick a building out. And there are two things that can torpedo the whole thing. One is a disconnection from the values of the people that are doing that and participating in it. And the other thing is a disconnection from the policies. So if you connect all these things and we have standards and all that, there's a certain amount of automation, but we've all seen very high-tech building automation systems that just get overridden. So you've got to connect those things to people's value to get them to engage, both from a research and standards, but also from an actual day-to-day perspective. And then that whole idea of written policies and the way that you utilize and use these things, that is currently a pretty big disconnection. And there's a lot of focus on technology and standards. But to your point, then who does something with that? So that's an area of focus. Just broken record here too. There are billions of square feet of office out there, and there's a lot of information and noise in the papers and at conferences, and we need to simplify the message for their part of all this, of the few things they can do to get started, so that when this matures, they meet in the middle. So really getting them to, and our focus is about what they do tomorrow, next week, next month, not in a couple of years when we get it all figured out. So I would just chip in that this needs to continue, but where the energy is consumed, what are the few tangible steps you can do now in a simplistic way?